the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
What is good, YouTube? Surprise stream. Listen, I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine a few hours ago, and listen, I have to make a surprise stream because that was epic. That right there, I haven't been excited for a Marvel movie to this magnitude since Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie lived up to the bill. This movie lived up to expectations. And before I go even further, I want to just let everybody know, before I start, there's going to be spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie, which a lot of people haven't watched, click off this video before you get spoiled, because you're going to get spoiled this video. Just FYI, before you continue to watch this video, just know I'm about to spoil the film. Okay, this movie right here. One thing about these type of films is comedy films. They're not your traditional type of films, right? You know, you can't really go off of just certain elements that makes a great film. Is it funny to me? Obviously, like Deadpool films have always been funny to me, and this movie just encapsulated all of the great Deadpool movies of the past, 1 and 2. This movie did something different, it incorporated a lot of music that just made things a lot more funny. From minute 1 of the film, they just get you in. It's just hilarious. Everything from just the references of pop culture, music. I forgot the name of the band, that band group. I think it was the one with Justin Timberlake. I forgot the name of the group. But just the fact that Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levi, I think that's his name is, who's the director of the film, came up with the idea of Deadpool fighting the Time Variance Authority soldiers while also dancing to the choreography of that band group. I forget the name of the group. It happened like almost 20 years ago. It was absolutely hilarious. Such a creative idea. Such a Deadpool character in itself. Like, that's something only Deadpool would do. And this movie, what it felt like a cartoon, but in live action. It felt like a Family Guy, Simpsons, but it's a Deadpool movie. And I just loved it. I loved everything about it. We'll get to some of the things that I wish they could have expounded more of. But this film was everything that I wanted. I knew that there was going to be a lot of cameos. I knew that some of the rumors that were going around on Twitter, I already expected that they were probably going to show up in this film. Spoiler, Blade, Wesley Snipes. I had a feeling he was going to be in it. There was speculation that he was going to cameo in this movie. There's been rumblings going around. And that's one of the things about Twitter, is that there's a lot of these leaks, a lot of these rumors, but they're like a year or maybe a year and a half before the fact. But they later, most of the time, are true. It's so weird how all of this information just so happens to leak, and more times than not, the rumors are true. Remember with Andrew Garfield, remember with Tobey Maguire, that was true. Doctor Strange, that was true. Like, it's amazing just how Twitter and these rumors, Marvel needs to do a better job when it comes to keeping information in house. Now, there was a few cameos, Channing Tatum, his Gamble. That one was unexpected. I didn't think he was going to show up. Obviously, the girl, X-23, I forgot her name. Danley Keene, I think that's her name is. She also played on Acolyte as well. So that's not surprising. I expect her to be in it, especially since now she's a part of the Disney family, since she was playing a very pivotal character in the Acolyte, which is also, Star Wars, Marvel, they're all under Disney. Disney owns the rights, so it only makes sense that she would be in this movie. She tried to play it off in the, I think it was the promo run that she was for the Star Wars project, but we all know that was cap. Just getting into the film, obviously it starts off, y'all, if you're watching this, you already know, but I think the story is very basic. It's not too complicated. It's easy to follow along. If you couldn't follow along to the story, then I don't know what to tell you because it's as simple as it gets. But even though it was a very simple story, it was still very well constructed. It didn't feel like things were confusing. It didn't feel like it was incohesive to the storyline or anything like that. And my only gripe with the story in itself was Wolverine's backstory. I felt like they needed to expound more on his story. Like, I'm a more of a show me, not tell me. So if they would have shown, they didn't even need to show the X-Men itself, but like just shown the aftermath of the situation. Like all we saw was, it looked like the grave. Maybe that was the grave, the cemetery of the headstones of each X-Men member, but they didn't really show it. I felt like if they would have shown more, it would have resonated with me a lot more, and maybe even the audience as well. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I know for me personally, I wanted to sympathize with him, but the fact that we didn't see what exactly happened, I didn't feel the full effect of what went down in his universe. And that really hurt me. I was like, damn, like that is such an important part of the story. Like his backstory is very important because Wolverine is such an essential character to Marvel in itself. And we have been watching Wolverine on his journey for the past 20 years. And this version of Wolverine, we finally get a version that is in a universe that has the Avengers and the X-Men, and we weren't able to see the just the aftermath of everything. It was just it's just implied that way because he said so. I'm just like, man, such a missed opportunity. That was probably the only part of the film where I was so disappointed. I was like, damn, if they would have just done something there, it would have been damn near perfect for me. I would have been just so satisfied. I would have been overstuffed. But, it is what it is. They probably had to save time, probably had to cut corners. They had a certain budget and they probably had to save money, and they're just like, all right, we're just going to save money and not do too much on Wolverine's backstory, because I love backstory so much. Films, when they dive into backstories, it can be television, it can be it can be whatever, live action, animation, etc. The backstory is such an important part into getting the audience to really sympathize or even empathize with the character. And for Wolverine, we understand. If you watch Wolverine over the years, if you read his comics, we understand like Wolverine's been through a lot. Like, he goes through a lot. He said, I'm over 200 years old. Like, he's lived through it all. And for us to not at least get a proper backstory to his situation, I want to go to Cassandra Nova. This is her debut on live action screening, and she is a very powerful mutant. And I'll say this, I thought they did a really good job with portraying her character. I haven't read the comics on her, so I don't really know all of the details. All I know is that she's related to Charles Xavier, and she's just overpowered, an Omega level mutant. And I like that. I like how the director and the people that wrote the script showed off just how capable she is. They didn't do the cliche MCU way of defeating the villain. You know what I mean? Like, Logan / Wolverine and Deadpool were not capable of defeating Cassandra Nova in a regular way. It had to be, well, okay, we got to stop this machine because she's trying to destroy this universe per se. And if that's how she loses, then by all means, I'm fine with it, because at the end of the day, if they try to fight her, regular mano a mano, they're going to get killed instantly. Just like when we saw with Johnny Storm, Chris Evans. By the way, amazing cameo for Chris Evans. I love this. finally we get a Chris Evans, Johnny Storm live action MCU. I was waiting. We knew this was going to eventually happen, but I didn't expect it to happen in this movie. So that was a great cameo. But back to Cassandra Nova. Yeah, man, like her powers, like she's just so capable. Honestly, she could be when X-Men, when the mutants finally, when we get to the mutant saga, she could really be like a main villain for one of the films. Like she's that capable. Like I would love to see her again in one of the Marvel films, one of the MCU films, because she's that capable, she's that powerful. And I don't know, man. I just feel like just because we kill off a character doesn't mean we can't do it again. You know what I mean? Like she was just amazing, and I would love to see her again, but just really unleashing her, really diving into her background and stuff like that. But yeah, man, the villain was great, and the cameos were great. I already mentioned Wesley Snipes, Jennifer Aniston, her was it Elektra? I think that's her name is Elektra. Nobody really cared about her version of Elektra, I think it was back in the day, but you know, she was okay. I mean, she was just there. It was really Daphne Keane, it was really Wesley Snipes, it was really Channing Tatum. They killed it. They absolutely killed it. Channing Tatum, we finally get a proper Gambit. His accent was incredible, and there was always like rumors of him playing Gambit again, maybe having a solo film. But seeing him, even though the costume is a bit goofy and he looks really goofy in it, the way he acted as Gambit was sensational. Like his accent was amazing. Like his little sarcastic nature about him like was amazing. I loved his iteration of Gambit. I loved his interpretation of Gambit. They really knocked it out of the park with Gambit. The fighting, his abilities, like they really showcased Gambit's true identity and abilities, because Gambit is very capable. Gambit, like I feel like Gambit doesn't get his just dues in live action and animation, because this guy right here he's OP. He's really OP. He's not Omega level, but he is very capable. And a lot of stuff we saw from Gambit, like they really did a really good job. It's up there with what we saw with X-Men 97 and the way they showed Gambit on that show. It's up there with just how good of iteration of Gambit that was on the movie and on X-Men 97. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I really enjoyed about the film. The music was sensational. I absolutely loved the music. They had Jay-Z. They had, I think, Justin Timberlake. They had Madonna. That was like they had so many just great songs there that goes well with the movie. You know, normally Marvel, they have their own sort of songs, their own sort of sound that they created themselves. But with Deadpool, it really goes well with the movie and stuff. And I loved it. I absolutely loved the movie. I loved the musical choices. It really went well, really blended well. It didn't feel like it distracted us from whatever was going on in the film. And it was awesome. The action scenes were amazing, like Deadpool versus Wolverine. Oh my God. Like that was, the first one was great. The second one was even better. And then we had also Wolverine and Deadpool versus 100 Deadpools. That, oh my God, it felt like I was watching Family Guy. which how bloody and just gore it was. Those two versus them. I will say, like, if I want to nitpick, at the end of the day, it's not realistic. Like, these are superheroes. It's not going to be realistic, because if it's like 100 people and they're fighting 2 people, and these 2 people are, I wouldn't say like they're Omega level, or they're not even like a level below that. Like, you know, they're just regular mutants, but they can regenerate. I'm sorry. Like, there was no way in hell they're going to beat them. So, but yeah, man, I enjoyed all this stuff. And even the end credits, I wasn't even mad that they didn't really go into, you know, they didn't really try to, you know, like do some sort of a big reveal after the fact. I wasn't even mad at that, because, you know, a lot of times Marvel, they shoot themselves in the foot with some of these end credits, because they introduce something, right? And now they have to live up to the bill. This movie is really, I was watching a YouTuber, and he talked about how, like, this could be just a one-off. They don't have to bring back Deadpool. They don't have to bring back Wolverine. They can just show them, and that's that. And I feel like that's what Marvel needs to do. They continue to shoot themselves in the foot because they show these characters. They have this movie, and how they end it, it's like, okay, we should expect to see them again. Like, no, like, we don't need to necessarily see them. Like, they should stop putting all these expectations on themselves. Stop putting all this weight on their shoulders, and instead just creating a great movie. And if they come back, cool. If not, then it is what it is. Like, it's not gonna disrupt anything in the grand schemes of the Marvel universe. So I'm glad everything was great. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I need to rewatch it again to see if I missed anything, because I already know I probably missed a few things on there, especially like the Logans. There's probably some Easter eggs when they went into the void. So I need to rewatch it again to get a better grasp, because ultimately, one of the things I will say is that when you watch it for the first time and you watch it premiere day on a Thursday, everybody's going to be in the theater watching it with you. The people around you, part of the experience is also just the fan reaction. And when you have the fan reaction with the movie, it's going to distract you a little bit from focusing on the plot of the story. How good is it? So I'm going to watch it again this time. Not as many people. This time, not as many fan reactions to it. And I'll probably have a better understanding of how good this movie really is. But for right now, first watch, 8.5 out of 10. I feel like that's a fair grade of it. I'm not going to give it a 9.5. I feel like where it missed was the backstory of Wolverine. I think they dropped the ball on that one. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger overall in terms of Deadpool and Wolverine. I didn't think they were going to be stuck in the void for that long. I thought they were just going to be going to different universes and stuff like that. But I'm not too mad at that. I mean, that's a little nitpicking. But I thought they would be like just going through different universes, and this universe, it has Blade in it. Oh, this universe has this person in it. And they would that's where we get the cameos. But it wasn't that. It was everybody was in the same area, void. I also enjoyed the fact that we got to see more of the void. Like, it wasn't just one area where it's just a cloud of dust. Like, no, there's areas where it actually has grass. There's areas where it actually has a place that's inhabitable. You know what I mean? And it's not just this one area that's just a cloud of dust, a desert. So, yeah, that's my first reaction to Deadpool and Wolverine. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I can't wait to see more of Marvel. I'm not going to lie. The next few Marvel films, they might as well just scrap it. Like Captain America, Thunderbolts. They might as well scrap those other films until the Fantastic Four, because I don't want another Marvel film unless it's as good as Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm sorry. Like, if it's not as good as this movie, I'm going to be so disappointed. Like, I'm really at a point now where I want good films. I don't want, this is great, this is mid, oh, this is good, oh, this is trash. Like, I'm tired of it. It seems like with Marvel, it's hit, miss. It's like a 50-50 hit rate. And I'm tired of it. I want peak every single time. And it just seems like Marvel, there's no consistency. But hey, it is what it is.
Just let me be me.